What's up, nerds? Welcome back to another episode of the Aggressively Average Angler podcast. Tonight we got a very special guest hanging out with us. We got Jake Heppner. Jake, what's going on, man? How you doing? How you
Just got
feeling?
back from Tennessee.
Yeah, you tired?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm feeling better today. I was dead yesterday.
Yeah,
And we got all
I
these
bet.
storms pushing through, and it's just ruining everything.
I feel it, dude. It's been so nasty up here. I really want to get out this weekend, but we're actually doing some more kayak content. So we're not even filming or fishing. We're filming. We're not fishing this weekend. So yeah, it's
got a new
been pretty
kayak?
nuts. A new kayak? I don't know. Maybe that's something we'll talk about tonight on the
We
show.
are. I am going to take the new kayak that is totally a secret, and I'm going to film with it at Waterdog, biggest crescent dealer in the state.
Oh wait, you guys are just spoiling everything.
I didn't spoil anything. Who are you talking to?
What can we say about this tonight? Anything? Is that it? Have we reached the extent of the NDA?
It paddles very well.
Nice. All right, cool. Is it pretty fast?
It is actually.
With the motor, it is. It is speedy.
All right. So something new. Paul and Jake went on a little special mission. I was left out, so there's going to be a lot of me catching up with them tonight and figuring out what the heck actually went down in Tennessee. And maybe we'll share as much of that as we can with you guys. It's an unreleased product, so we're not going to step on any toes with Crescent if we can help it. But needless to say, pretty cool stuff. Some content that we'll be dropping on that soon. I believe we're allowed to after April 10th. After that on April 10th we'll do some preview content, and then we'll do like the full content later on. Paul and I are actually heading up to Waterdog this weekend to film a whole bunch of other kayak content.
We have like conflicts of interest too. Like for an hour I'll be like doing one thing, and then for like another hour I'll be doing like the opposite. It'll be like Nike versus Adidas. It's gonna be nuts.
At least you have like a really great water body to do that on right there at Waterdog.
Yeah,
it's crazy how that area right there was so sick. Like you had like the slough and the marsh on one side, you have the giant lake with the giant fish on the other side.
Yeah, it's nuts. And there's and 30 minutes south of there, you can go to Muskegon, hit the Muskegon River and the Grand.
Dude, we wrecked them on the Muskegon during that Whitehall event. Oh my gosh,
that was the place to be.
Insane how many fish we caught, and we run into other people in kayaks that we're filming filming people for the tournament. And it's like, how you guys doing? They're like, we haven't caught anything, and we're just like,
oh, that's a bummer.
Oh yeah, same.
Like, we caught 50 a piece, no big deal.
Yeah. Dude, it was funny because the boys from Muskegon, like I think Shranko did a little seminar like the day before the tournament started. He was like, catch them like this, and then
that's how we did it. We threw the fluke, and we caught a couple off beds. I think we each caught one good one off a bed. I caught like a 19. He caught like I think Josh caught a 19 off a bed. So
wow,
it was crazy to me that they were even on beds like that. But
that is not because that wasn't
weird.
That June?
Yeah,
it was cool too though.
Yeah.
Like it was.
What?
I want to say it was like in the 40s in the mornings, like pretty regularly that event.
It was wild. And then it was like super stormy the full day fishing. And like I ended up fishing the what is it, White Lake or whatever that lake is, like right where we were. And then I went upriver a little bit. But yeah, the place to be was Muskegon. Everybody who crushed it went down there. And we found that out after the fact. Oh, well, still caught fish. I didn't catch a smallie that trip. I caught all largemouth. So.
Dude, I caught a smallmouth that was like 18 inches out of a creek, like straight up out of a creek off the side of the road. And I was like, you know what? I think I might want to live in Michigan. That was the moment where I was like, dude, this is insane.
So
it's different, but we got some good stuff, man. We got
this actually leads me into what will be my Q of the D, my intro question. So what do you think Michigan's state record, the weight for the state record smallmouth is?
It's probably like, it's not going to be as crazy as you think. It's probably 8 or 9 pounds, I'd say.
I think it could be pretty crazy because we do have St. Clair as well.
Does St. Clair count? I guess.
Here's the craziest thing, you guys. It is from an inland lake.
Ooh.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
So, it surprises me a lot.
Well, think about it, though. Where's the world record from?
I get it. there's not that many main lake, like decent sized lakes that have smallmouth.
Yeah, if you catch them, it's usually weird. Like I've caught them on my lake here, and I'm like, "What are you doing here?"
Well, like
dude?
White Lake has them, but they come in from the main lake to spawn, and then they get sniped. So do they really count? You know, it's like
sure. Yeah, this is a lake though, a straight up just a lake.
It's I'm gonna go like 9.8. I'm gonna go like close to 10. 9.8.
So we looked it up while we were waiting for Drew to get back. While we were waiting for Drew to get back to dinner.
Yeah.
It's a hair over 12.
What?
Nice.
That is crazy. That is bad shit.
That's bananas, is what that is. That's absurd.
That's insane.
12 on an inland lake. Which lake? Where? Are they selling the spots on
exactly? It actually does say. You can look it up.
Oh yeah, it says exactly where, off of this guy's dock. The poor guy.
Well, the poor guy. There aren't GPS coordinates.
Prove it. It's on fishtips.com.
Oh no! Oh no!
I guarantee it. Somebody burned that spot.
It was on here. We were talking about that, wasn't it? Where on No, I forget where it was. Somebody was telling us so that somebody was like, "Oh, on St. Clair, I have a property, and adjacent to that property is like a broken down boat dock, and somebody won a Bassmaster."
Yeah, it was on here.
Was it not? Yeah, and they were like, "Oh yeah," and now people literally, because you can buy the coordinates, people know about that fish with the coordinates, and they every single day there's like a dozen guys that come and flip into that dock and try and catch a giant smallmouth. Like it happens daily, and the guy's like, "It sucks. I hate it." Which I would too, obviously.
That would drive me nuts.
That would be gosh. Yeah, horrible.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do a little more in depth. So this is Jake Heppner. We have Illyakkin, which can be interpreted multiple ways. We talked about this. I was like, Jake, I absolutely love your handle, because not only is it like ill, but it's also like Illinois. So how did you come up with that name? Because you're not from Illinois.
I am from Illinois. I'm sitting here right now in Illinois. Here's the secret though. I live right on the border between Illinois and Missouri, so I can pop right over and go catch those smallmouth. I've actually probably caught less than 20 smallmouth in Illinois in my entire life.
Whoa.
He's like, I'm out of here.
At least recently. I mean, I've caught, and I'm talking when I say caught, I've caught a lot of really, really small ones back in the day when I was in college up north, up by Chicago area. And I never really like fished, like I didn't have a boat at the time. So, kayaks opened a new way to fish essentially. So, but yeah, I live in Illinois, and Illyakkin. I just thought it sounded cool, It's like ill, and I was like, well,
you're correct.
And believe it or not, Illyakkin with 1K was taken, and I was like, what? How is this possible?
That poor soul.
And I'm like, okay, well, I guess I'll just do 2Ks, because it's like you're yakking too. You're talking, you're yakking, and it's like
there's 3 levels.
Username.
There's so much. Dude, that's intense.
Listen, we didn't go that far. There's no levels to aggressively averaging.
It's we're
not that deep. I love it, dude. That's cool. You got some lore behind the name. That's what I'm looking for.
I like
not enough people have that.
I like the lore, and I'm also curious because there are a lot of kayak anglers now. But a lot of them are new. Like a lot of like big kayakers are like relatively new to kayak fishing. And so I'd be curious, like, when did you get your first kayak and what kind of drove you into kayaks versus being a wade guy? Because it seems like, I mean, you seem like the type of dude who would like enjoy a good wet wade.
I don't do a lot of it, but I love bank fishing. I do it all the time.
Yeah.
Like I did it right before that trip. I went out and fished the bank and lost a brand new Vision 110 SR and the baby jack on the first cast of the baby jack. So
we talked about that because I lost
a great trip, and I was like, "This is why I bought a kayak. This trip, why I bought a kayak."
Yeah,
100%. It's funny that it's no longer my jackhammer problem. It's people like you.
Well, I got snagged up in the river. That's different than just casting and watching it go over the moon.
No.
Those baby jacks are expensive too, and they were.
Yep.
You can't even get them. You have to get them at the classic. And I was like, I'll just get one. I can get them later for cheapo.
Paul only had one as well. So
and I was like, no big deal. I'll just buy one. And I start the video, and I'm like, all right, today the goal is to throw the baby jack. I go out there. I throw it once. I'm like, oh yeah, this feels good. This feels good. I throw it again. I hit this log, and I can see it, and it's just pinned in there. And so I walk all the way around the bank, and I'm like, okay, Do I get
and
wet?
I get this.
Or do I try to pop this free? And I cannot figure out how it's lodged into the log, and I can see it. So I pull, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting some pullback, and the line just snaps, and then the baby jack's gone. So I can't even pull the log in. I guess it shot off the log. And at that point, I was just like, you know what? It just wasn't meant to be.
Was it the green pumpkin one?
No, it was the spot remover.
That's like my favorite one.
I know.
God,
probably the biggest fish I caught on a jackhammer was on spot remover.
So we talked about this.
Bummer.
I was on the river as well, and I did the same thing. I was like, oh, this will be the bait. I think I had some issues with some other stuff, didn't catch anything. I'll throw this on. First cast.
Yeah.
Crap. And it's like 9 feet down. Like the water.
I really considered getting a little bit wet, but it was like, especially because it was pouring rain when I did this. Like it was just drenching me with rain.
I'm already
get wet anyways. But then I was like, I don't have any shoes with me, and I'm like a half mile from the car because this bank I was fishing, you got to park and walk in. And I was like, you know what? Just it wasn't meant to be.
$17 down the drain.
Oh, you didn't feel like getting bit by a snapping turtle?
No, luckily my drone.
Somebody else did that. So we were joking. We were with a filming crew in Tennessee this weekend, and some dude, a great dude by the way, and very good with the drone, clipped a tree near a bank, and the thing went in the water. And the owner
filming me, which made I'm like, what do I do?
It's kind of your fault.
They're like, can you get that? And I'm like turning around in the kayak. I was like, if I had my 180, sure, I could spin around and get it. But I had the XI3, so I had to kill the speed in a boat. I've literally, it was my first time out in it with a bow mounted motor. I'm like turning like this, like super slow, and I'm like, all right, I'm coming. And by that point, it sunk to the bottom.
It's already down there.
And they're like, you need to, you know where it's at. You need to have like a visual memory of where's that. I'm like, I mean, you told me not to bring my GoPro. If I had my GoPro, we would have been able to.
Bro's like, that was a $5,000 drone. Please help.
It was a Mavic.
Oh, it was a Mavic. Dude, the DJIs
I think it might still work. I mean, to be honest with you, it looked like it could work.
Really?
Wait, so
you down there for like 3 hours.
We did get it back.
We got it back. So that's why I was going with this. So the dude, first of all, the owner of the kayak company that shall remain nameless jumps in and is swimming around, and it totally makes sense if you know the guy. He's just like swimming around, 50-degree water or whatever, and he's diving down. They're trying to figure it out. Everyone's getting pissed, and then he gets out, drives off, and they're like kind of just pouting on the bank for a little while. Like everyone's mad, and he's like, oh, I'm getting in there, and he goes back down. I think did he get goggles? I think he got some goggles.
I don't think he did. I think he just.
I don't think. Yeah. They were going to
the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. So he gets down there, and they're kind of like closer to the bank.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, there's like a smooth rock down here. Turns out it's a snapping turtle. Gets him right in the toe.
It got him? What?
Got him. Now he got lucky. I have a picture of his foot. I'm gonna put it in the video. It's probably the best part of the video.
Man.
And it wasn't horrible, but like he got. And then right next to it, literally connected to the turtle, is the drone. He gets the drone.
Dude, if we get that fired up and running, you should have some underwater footage with that.
So I asked. So we looked at it.
We looked at it.
I saw it.
Yeah, I
texted him. I was like, "Hey, can you send me that clip when you pull the footage?
Yes.
When he gets back. I have like 2 weeks to get it. There's also one of the guy who's taking photos, like with his space lens.
Oh.
He's out there, and he's snapping shots of Drew, and Drew has this back mounted camera on, so you can see the guy on the bank taking pictures of him from Drew's camera in the kayak. And he's like standing there, and he goes to take a step and just like, I swear to God, it looks like he slid. He did not slide. Straight down 4 feet onto his back on a rock. And you hear, look, he played college hockey. He's a tough SOB.
Yeah.
And he gutted it out for the rest of the trip filming.
Oh my God.
The sound he makes is the sound of a father that is truly hurt. Oh, and then he's like, fuck, you know what I mean? And then Drew's like, are you okay? And he's like, okay? No. He just goes, no.
Do you want me to send help? Well, I'm busy, but somebody else wouldn't be.
That's what he does. And then he casts. It's the most brutal clip. And honestly, I feel so bad for the guy.
Dude, that whole first lake was kind of chaos because Drew lost a rod and then ran it. He was, while looking for it an hour later, ran it over with his Torqeedo.
Did you chop it up?
Yeah, it's done.
Dude, it's wrecked. Torqeedo, he's got the freaking 1103 running full speed right over it.
So was this trip cursed? Is what I
no, it was a cluster.
And it stormed. it stormed, so like the rivers were blown out.
There was a touchdown like 50 miles away like that night, and the whole
We had
river
that
system
while
got
you were gone.
blown out. The whole place was crystal clear
Yeah.
when we get there. The next day, chocolate milk. Like,
Dude,
But
we had tornadoes here in
helped the
Michigan
fishing.
when you guys were there.
it didn't hurt the fishing. It didn't hurt.
It definitely helped the fishing. They were chewing when we did that evening float. We launched at like 4 and fished till about sundown, like 7:30. I don't think I got back to the truck till it was almost dark, and those fish were chewing. Like, it was a good time.
It was a great time.
It fires them up. So like when you were gone, I was talking to our buddy Ted, who we're gonna go fishing with in like 2 weeks on the river. But he hit the river the day we had the tornado touchdown, and it hit like a mile away from him. He was driving home in that storm. We got 80-mile-an-hour winds.
What?
Like, yeah, dude. Did you talk to your wife at all? Like it definitely hit over here. So we had 80-mile-an-hour winds. I was watching my trees in my back window just go. I had to take the kids down the basement with the tornado alarms going off. Whoa. And yeah, it touched down like right by Ted. He was on the road, just getting off the water. He had they fired up for him too. So he was getting bit like crazy.
But the irony is that, so they had tornado sirens here, but it was, a nothing burger.
Yeah, delicious. Well, we had a something burger up here.
Right? Yeah, that sounds disgusting. That's wow.
Yes. It wasn't great. I can tell you that much. Yeah, nasty.
Well, let's get back to. I want to get back to Jake. So, when did you get your first kayak, and what was it?
Well, my first kayak was actually a Sun Dolphin.
10-footer.
Yeah, whatever that the angler one was. I used that a little bit. I didn't really like it because I'm taller, so it was a pretty crowded experience.
Yeah.
But when I was living in Austin, I kayaked and fished a lot in Lady Bird Lake. It's real big down there. I ended up buying a Old Town 106 PDL, like the original one, like the old school one.
Yeah.
From
before the Sportsman.
Yeah. And it was, I think, and then we moved back to Illinois right before COVID, basically. And so like I had it for a while at that point. And then COVID hit, and it just was so easy to just have this kayak. And I was like, well, I don't need this boat anymore. So I just started fishing on the kayak. And I mean, I'd say I've been kayak fishing for like 7-8 years, maybe 9 if you really want to get technical. But so
nice.
Good choice. Then so how did you get into like tournament fishing? Like, have you always been a tournament angler?
I mean, a lot of it was just because like I've always been really good at fishing, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe I'll do something with this. And like I've never obviously won any national events. They're pretty competitive, and they take a mindset which I've always toyed with. Does this really fit what I want to do? I mean, I think about that a lot, to be honest. At every single one of these events, I'm just like, I'd really rather just be up a river, not trying to fish main lake on Lake Fork, getting blown around. So I got into it mostly just because I thought it was fun and I wanted to fish some cool lakes, and it gives you an excuse to fish some cool lakes. I mean, shoot, I've been all over the place thanks to that. But it's not cheap, and that's another thing you have to like consider, is just the cost of the buy-in is so much more, especially now where this isn't like a shot, but kayak fishing has kind of moved more towards being mini bass boats. Unfortunately, it frustrates me that people can't see this, but it has. And the fun that it used to be, it was kind of the Wild West on some aspects, and it's good to rein that in a little bit. But what really frustrates me is the launching scenarios are very limited now. And so I find myself at a lot of these tournaments launching from concrete boat ramps. And I'm just sitting here thinking like, this doesn't seem right. There's a park over there that you could launch from publicly. Why can't we go there? And it's like, one of those things is like really what eats away with me of what tournaments have become, unfortunately. And, that's not me ranting. I get why it happened, but, with all the electronics, all the motors, and I run a motor, obviously, like, it's just, we're really walking a fine line here on what kayak fishing truly is. So
it's the plastic bass boat, man. I love a plastic bass boat, but yeah, I mean, when you say people don't see it, people definitely do see it. We hear it all the time in our comments, but it's
they're
like
the subset though. Everyone's super hyped whenever, like, okay, I'll give you the best example that I can think of. XCR drops. What happened? Everyone's like, we've been waiting for this for forever. This is the best thing that's ever happened to us. And I'm like, I mean, it's cool.
It was
50.
I like the XTR personally. Like,
yeah, it's not that I
might
don't
surprise a lot
like
of people. I like all kayaks.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not against kayak innovation. Like, if you want to fish in an XTR, I'm glad you're just fishing in an you know, in anything. Like,
well, that's what we chose.
I totally agree. But I would
how you want to fish.
I do think it's indicative though of like I'll give you the backup. So the opposite. So the LTE drops. Nobody's talking about it.
Crickets.
Nothing.
It's a cool
because
boat
it's a
too.
smaller cheater like pedal kayak, and everyone's like
cheater.
That's
the
XTR. That's not the XTR. What are we talking about here? I'm like no hype at all. None, because it's not the next evolution of the large kayak. So I tend to agree.
Hang on. So I think the reason it got a lot of hype though too is because 50% thought it was awesome. 50% were like, what have we done? This is the Frankenstein monster. And because of that diversity, that's what social media runs on. So of course it got more. LTE comes out, everybody's like, well, yeah, it's good. Like nobody's like, that's garbage. You need that device.
I think no one was like, it's not many people were like, it's too big. They were like, it's too expensive.
A lot of people said it's too big. I heard that often.
It is a little bit on the big side, but I mean,
it's not even that big.
It's no different than a PA14, really. Like,
it's a PA14.
14, like any of those boats, like the Titan X, is also a chunky
right there.
boat.
It's right there.
It's like it's a perception thing. I think it's just the layout of the XTR because they have that walkable deck. People were like,
here's a hot take, and this is something that I've really it's been eating away at me. All these XTRs I see, and I saw a lot at Lake Fork. I didn't see a single person on that deck. Everybody has these graphs blocking it so you can't be on there. And I'm thinking, like, what's the point of this deck? What are we gaining here?
Battery storage underneath.
And I'm not like taking a shot at it. I honestly regret, because I ended up getting like a kayak from just how high I finished in the AOY standings. It was like, you're finished in the top 30 people in Bassmaster AOY. I got a free kayak through my dealer, and I got a Hobie PA12, and I actually really do like it. But I wish that I would have gotten the XTR, and the only reason I say that is it's just so different. Yeah, it has nothing like anything else I have, and I'm like, that would be cool to play around with and just experiment.
Jeff and I are both going to get in it this weekend.
Yeah,
one of us will be on the front.
I paddled it at ICAST, and I was like, wow, this paddle's like trash, but it is really cool.
Yeah,
you don't have a motor on it.
We're going to have to paddle it.
Yeah, we won't have the motor. That's right.
What paddle's even worse?
Huh.
The, I almost said Pelican, Wilderness Tactical Pro.
Oh, yeah, because it's the tunes. You just got two.
But I will tell you, good luck flipping that thing.
They're not designed to be paddled. They're designed to not be paddled. Frankly, they're designed to not be paddled. Like they're.
But that's the thing, is you got to keep in mind kayak fishing is like these subsets, these groups of individuals where you got the love for the bass boat ones who want that. They don't want to paddle. They'll never do paddle or pedal kayak.
That's fine.
And then you got your paddle pros who are like, look, also no motors, also one rod, also only green pumpkin Senkos, and I'm having a blast. Like, and that guy's having a time, and that guy's having a time. Like, let's go. It's
funny, Jeff and I, Jeff has seen me go through this like weird thing where I'm like, every time I build like a big kayak, I'm like, man, I wish I had a small kayak. I really do like. I think
you'll get one.
I think, I should. I think what I've learned, I think what I've discovered though is like in my time is like, there's definitely a place where like motors are great. Honestly, on the river, a motor is phenomenal. Just being able to be like, I'd like to go 4 miles upstream and not kill myself. That's great. I'd love to fish crazy current and hold myself. You lose
less fish with the motor in the river.
Because
you can stay in position and fight them the correct way.
Yeah.
Unlike that clip I showed you before we started.
If I had a motor, spinning like
a motor, I would be showing you guys my personal.
Because you'd be facing upstream. You'd be able to handle your business, especially with foot steering.
5+ pounder.
Wait. So Jake, do you want to you can show the clip? We can do that.
I can't show the clip.
No, we can't.
Oh, yeah, that's right. The secret.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we save that clip. We'll put it in our video that drops.
If I edited it very heavily, we.
Oh well, no.
Could you blur?
I was actually in the Shoaly. I was in the Shoaly because we had swapped.
Oh, you just have to cut everybody else out.
When I just have to like crop it.
The closest view is actually the one of the person filming. Anyways, what I think what I get is like, I would challenge a lot of like the guys who have like the big kayaks, and like there's nothing wrong with the big kayak, but like to get in a situation where the better, like, because every kayak's built for different things. Like getting on a small pond in like a Titan X is not always fun. It's kind of a pain in the neck, and you get like,
it can be pretty fun.
It's okay, and like, but getting in a small kayak is awesome.
You're gonna look like a friggin' dweeb.
Yeah. So the kayak that we were using, I had the motor on it, the low pro battery in it, which is heavy, and you know, my fishing stuff, and a crate because we were filming and we wanted to showcase like how you can load it out. So I had all the stuff in it. I just picked it up from the side handle and the track, and I just leveraged it against my waist, and I walked it down a hill.
That's dumb.
Like, that's wild. So considering that whole setup weighs less than a Titan X with nothing in it.
Oh yeah,
it's nuts.
Not hard to do.
What isn't?
Titan X is big fat boat, very heavy.
Well, and it's great. It really, and once it's on the water, it's really nice. It's a great kayak.
You just gotta get to the water with your hippo of a boat.
You sure do. Once you're wet, though, you're in a good spot. So, Jake, what? I got another question. I got a couple of just like random ones. So we talked about how you got to tournament fishing. How many tournaments do you fish in like one season?
So I'm trying to think how many I did last year. I did 11,000 miles last year conservatively in total travel. And that was, I did 75% of the Bassmaster events, not including the championships, because it didn't count towards the overall, you know, it's like its own event. And then I did every single local river event, which they're never close, because with rivers, you know, you go wherever the river is in the state, and you can travel a lot doing that.
Yeah.
I think I did a couple local events, and then I did, you know, I obviously went to all the KAS events. So I was at a lot of kayak festivities, I guess. And I fished at every single KS event. Like I made sure to at least, I always get there a day early, fish, because I think it's good for content, just to like make that content for yourself, but just make it for like the KS stuff. Like I got to Whitehall early. My wife came with me. She worked in the hotel while I went and fished the Muskegon. I was gone all day. It was a pain point, but you know what? One of the best days of fishing I had that spring for smallmouth. You know, it's just, it's hard to beat fishing new places, but the travel does really take the toll. And I think a lot of people underestimate that. I think this year I'm doing probably only 3 Bassmaster events, maybe 4, if I can figure out a way to do Champlain. That's my floater at the moment.
Yeah.
I would have to fly and probably borrow, the shoalie that we were just talking about that I was fishing down the river, my buddy shoalie, probably have to borrow that and just wing it, you know. But I feel like Champlain can't be that hard, right? Fingers crossed.
Super chill.
Easiest lake ever.
Well, but the fish that are there,
they're big.
The thing about Champlain and St. Clair that I think people kind of take for granted is it really is very electronics focused. I mean, if you're not dialed on your electronics, you're not going to have any fun. It's just not a situation where you can be super successful and beat the bank, or even find a spot. It's not easy fishing.
Right.
It's tough.
And I know there's some, I'm kind of familiar with Champlain in a sense that I've watched a lot of people fish it. So I do know that there are some sneaky areas you can get in there where you can really get shallow. You can fish the river areas. I mean, there's a lot of water. And I think that Champlain would be cool because I know I could go there and not see anybody if I wanted to.
Yes.
And you're going to still be in position to catch fish. Now, is it going to be as big as the giant smallmouth out on the main lake? I don't know. That's not really a question for me, probably, since I've never been there. But I do think that Champlain, it may be intimidating for a lot of people, but that one in particular, I think, is a great kayak thing, just because there's so much that you can do there.
I agree. It's built for Drew.
Water.
I mean, Drew.
Drew's done well there.
Yeah, it's built for an angler like Drew.
Yeah.
And by Drew, we're talking about Drew Gregory. Sorry, folks. So that,
everything's so secret tonight. Like,
so it's not supposed
what are all the inside bits we got going on?
Drew Gregory would be the one to say, I'm going to just donate all my time to transport. I'm going to get to that river spot where nobody else is. I'm going to find those fish that no one's cast at yet. And probably hit the river section. and then just find a tributary where there's some fish hiding, and then just find that secret 7-pounder that no one else is going to get to.
Yeah.
Accidentally float into Canada.
Oops. Still good, right? So that's the tournament fishing side of things, but you also do quite a bit of social media work, and considering how much you travel, post a shocking amount of content. So
what are you
how
trying
does
to
that
say, man?
I'm saying it's very impressive. How does that work? Like,
It's
how?
not easy.
Yeah.
The last trip was tough because it was on the heels of the Bassmaster Classic, which I did a very poor job of keeping up with that while posting. It was tough. And like being a road warrior and posting content is not for the faint of heart, because you have to understand how to edit in your same style. And you don't necessarily have to keep the same style, but doing it on the road is difficult. And some of the videos that I did while traveling, I could tell really suffered because I wasn't able to do them the normal way I do.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's just like the nature of the beast. Like, but it's doable. I mean, you just got to make sure you have a lot of hard drives. That's
bring the hard drives. Dude, I love how it's also is funny to me as you're talking about that. It's like filming and editing while traveling, not driving, not while driving. I was like, how do you pull that up? Well, when you're on the highway.
I'm actually doing Instagram reels while
you're just like cruise control.
What was my hashtag?
This is fine.
I don't use hashtags. There's a tip for you guys. No hashtags. They're out. That's so 2020.
Oh.
Yes.
Hey, don't you?
I use the same. I've been using the same 3 just on autopilot for like 3 years.
I mean, they don't hurt you. That's for
know stuff.
I literally was like, yeah, I'm not even doing this. I picked the same 3 and I just let it roll.
I will say on the content side, I won't spend too much time on it, but I just started a new YouTube channel, Instagram and stuff for like my actual stuff that I do, my actual job. It is really hard to restart, you guys.
Yeah, it's very difficult. And I've ran YouTube channels up to 1 million followers before, because I used to work for companies that did digital media stuff, and it sucks trying to like I have a play button somewhere back there from the good old days from one of the channels that we did, and I just think about how hard that is now doing it for myself. You know, it's like it's easy to do it for someone else, but when you have to do it for yourself, it's like, wait, am I actually good at this? I thought I was good at this. Clearly, I'm not.
You take all the analytics personally, right? Like it's your thing. You did the work. You put it out there, and you're like,
dude,
why is that not doing good?
Nothing feels worse than seeing that this video is getting 100% less views than your previous video. Like,
no, nobody liked your stuff, bro.
When you check stats and you see a chart and the chart's like this,
you're
like, what?
Oh man, I suck at this. And then you have one blow up and you're like, I'm good at this again.
But although I will say, like, after, I don't know, okay, let's just say after maybe you've been jaded, however much time that is, a year, 3 years, 5 years, whatever, you do get to a point where you stop taking it personally and you stop checking, because you know it's a bit of a coin toss. And even though you beta test it, this is my perception, you beta test a bunch of stuff, you find your style and you're like, I'm doing this my way. If it doesn't work, I don't care. It's going to work eventually. That's fine. And you just roll with it. Now, when I make stuff, I do not stress about it. I don't check stats. I check comments, because that's actually my favorite part about Instagram, actually, weirdly enough. And I just, well, we're going to talk about that. This was a transition. I was working on it. And so I take 0 things personally. It doesn't impact me one way or the other, no matter what. Because like my biggest like 3 or 4 videos, they were less than 5 seconds. I did not try. I almost didn't even post them because I thought they were trash, and they all did like millions. And I was like,
dude, our biggest videos are like lifting a kayak out of the water.
I asked Jeff, I was like, should I post this or even make this? And he's like, why not? And I was like, sure, whatever. And I just threw it up. And then all of a sudden, like 2 weeks later, I was like, crap.
My biggest video is that lamprey that I caught the bass on topwater, and I pulled the lamprey off its head at Gunnersville.
Yeah.
Dude, that video has like 5 million views on every platform.
Unreal.
I actually should probably run it back, because that's what you do.
Now's the time.
That's what you do. You recycle the good stuff, right? And you monetize
60 seconds for TikTok, and then they'll give you 1/1,000,000th of the views, because it's over 59 seconds. So they'll be like, no, we're not paying you.
The algorithm's trash. I just want to do what I want to do.
We turned on our payment and we got muted so hard, nothing would go. We turned payment off, and all of a sudden it was like right back to where we
on
were
TikTok?
before.
On Instagram.
And I was
we
like,
tested it, dude, like
classic.
3 times.
Dude, they don't. It doesn't even matter. Instagram pays you literal pennies. I have a video with 1.8 million views. Right,
$5.
No, $5. It's more like pennies.
We get $6 a month from Instagram.
Dude, I used to make.
I say it pays for the badge.
Solid money on Instagram when it was the golden era, but now it's like it's not about that. Like they're the worst platform for monetization across the board, and it's not even close.
No,
but not. Facebook, on the other hand, is the opposite. So it's like,
which, by the way, Jeff, something is wrong. Well, I can't post on Facebook anymore.
Oh no!
Sorry, now I'm not making my folks. 6 nickels that I keep track of in my head.
7 nickels, you idiot.
I know. Classic.
I'll reconnect it. Move on though.
So what I was gonna say, so we chit-chatted at one point. It may be the first time I reached out to you on Instagram, and I was like, because you mentioned something about like, well, you showed a comment, and I remember being like, that is the most classic Instagram comment I've ever seen. It's just
was it
dog crap? It's just an absolute joke comment. Yeah. So I was gonna ask you, like, what comments make you actually mad? Where you're like, you're on you're walking around your house, you read that comment, you're like, what the like?
What are you talking about?
Man, it's like I get so many. Like, I think the one that we last talked about was the one with like me. I just did like, so I fish all year. I don't stop unless the weather stops me, which did happen this year. But I fished like ice out on the river, and I posted that one that did really good of me just breaking the ice, saying like, well, the fish aren't biting, so let's do something dumb. And someone was like, why waste X amount of time posting this useless video? Like, he took the time to leave that comment on the video. And I'm just
the irony
in my head. I was like, I think the effort for you to type this out probably was more of a time sink than watching this video that, by the way, he didn't have to watch. No one made him watch.
You could have gone like this and done way less.
Which I'm sure 80 to 90% of people did.
Yeah.
But
which is great.
It takes a lot of effort to leave like a dislike on YouTube or a mean comment, but some people think it's worth the effort. Some people they love that. They thrive on it. Like, let's cause some chaos.
Here's what
let's light this candle.
Yeah. Here's what gets me about those comments. Those comments get me because it's like this. It's like you watched a video that somebody else made, the style and type of video that you love, that you spend literal hours a day watching. Yeah. You went on one that you didn't like and told the person you didn't like it. How in God's name is that at all? Like, what are you're berating somebody for making videos, the type of video you like, for free. You don't pay anything to watch that, and you're upset because you didn't like it. Are you out of your mind?
Well, they don't like it.
What are we talking about?
It's all time based. It's like, how dare you waste my time? It's main character syndrome, man. They're the main character.
My John boat can go anywhere.
You think you're wasting my time?
Just
I have to manage your comment because Instagram makes me. Who's wasting whose time?
Also, this is Matt. Comment or don't. We're gonna start doing that. We're the buy it or don't guys, and we're gonna be the comment or like don't.
I do love though. I actually love comments. It's funny. Like Jeff does not like comments. He's a normal person. No, I love like going through the comments. It might be my favorite part about social media.
I don't mind YouTube comments. They're usually pretty level-headed, and even if they're hating, it's like, okay, whatever. Whereas Instagram, it feels, I don't know why, it feels like more from like shots fired, like
I felt that way on TikTok too.
TikTok's the worst, bro.
Well, TikTok's full of like uninformed people. Like it's like they're like, does this hurt the fish, or like stuff like that?
What kind of fish is that? I got
so it's like, are you eating that? Why are you throwing it back? It's like,
you eat that.
This was a bowfin, sir. The fish, the comment that
she said, that was the one
that was bad. The comment that I can't stand, that I truly hate. How much? Where can I get it?
Very nice.
Those two make me enraged. I have told you in the video and in the comment section what it is and who makes it. Figure it out, bro.
Is this item still available?
Oh, number 3 on the list.
The best is when they think you sell it personally, like it's your store. So I've had,
and they get mad at you about customer service from a company you know nothing about. And I'm like,
at least 3 times in recent memory, people were like, "Why didn't you take my return?" And
yeah,
we're like, "What
are you talking about?"
I'm sorry, bro. Like, I don't know what you mean. Let me refer you to customer service. And then I just dial in customer service. Hey, this guy, douche tuber 97, like, he's really pissed off.
Oh, that is brutal.
It's fun time.
So what comments do you love? Like, what comments are you like, yes?
I don't mind questions, honestly. I feel like questions are valuable. Like,
I love them.
I think questions too kind of, just from like a algorithm standpoint too, I think they help that because it's like you're answering the question, so it's going to appear in that it's better than hashtags. I don't mind questions, obviously, like as long as they're not like how much, where can I get it, stuff like that. But
what was that called again? Instead of replaying the video, rewind 15 seconds, dude.
I can't say like I dislike comments outside of that. Like, comments are always good because it makes you feel like people actually care. And I honestly feel like sometimes comments are better than likes. I mean, anytime I watch someone's stuff and I comment, I always like it. It goes hand in hand because like I tend to like everything of people I follow because like you lift others up. They, rising tide lifts all boats. But
there you go.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think my worst experience though ever was that jet boat video where the jet boaters were drinking and they kept going back and forth all day on the river.
Oh.
And I stopped to let him go around this bend, and I don't think he even knew we were there. And he just stopped, and he sent a wake all the way over and swamped my boat, shot all my stuff out, floating down the river. He doesn't even care. And then he comes back by and he makes some comment like, "Oh, sorry, figured we wouldn't swamp you guys out again," even though they had gone by us no problem before. And he makes some comment about like, "Oh, you should have waved me by." And I'm like, for the 100th time, I need to tell him to go. And
go ahead.
Everyone sided with the boater, it felt like, especially on TikTok. And I'm like, you guys don't realize like how dangerous that was, for one. Two, the only reason he was able to even be on that water is because they were at a private like put-in drinking, because you cannot drink and operate a jet boat on a Missouri stream legally, right?
Yeah.
So it was a whole ordeal, and I think that one really bothered me. But ironically, I gained like 2,000 TikTok followers from that.
Yeah.
So I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing, but it was really tough to like get people just saying the worst, like, "Oh, kayakers are the bicyclists of the water," and I'm like, no,
what's
I
wrong
just
with
don't want to die.
Bicyclists? What's wrong with that? Just
why do we hate bikes?
Yeah, why are we hating on bikes?
I do get that. I totally get that feeling though, where you're like, I have been alone in my living room and had that type of like situation on a video, and I've been like,
what? Oh, the whole video.
What are we doing?
Paul like, hacked his foot up with an ice auger.
Yeah.
That one drew so much hate.
Oh yeah.
I thought about deleting the video. That's how bad it was getting. I was like, is this really worth it? But I let it ride, and I didn't.
$2,000 later, got him.
I don't think we've ever pulled a video.
No, I don't care. I don't care enough. No,
don't do it. Don't let them win.
The buttons. Nah, I love the comments. And again, like those, I lose zero sleep over people who don't know what's going on. That doesn't bother me. I'm like, you're only helping me. Every argument I get in on Instagram, I'm like, check, win. I actually gauge all my videos by comments, not by likes or shares or anything like that. Shares maybe a little bit, but like if I'm getting comments, I'm like, that's good. We did good.
Yeah. You want the engagement. So we appreciate commenters like you guys that are probably in the chat right now. You guys are awesome. You can always ask us questions. We responded to everything since 5 years ago when we started this.
And that's the nice
we'll
thing
continue to do so.
Yeah, we hit it all. And I do it off my personal account on YouTube. I hammer every comment I can see. I probably get 80% of them.
Yep.
Except for the ones that happen like 6 months after the video post. Other than that, for the first 2 weeks, I'm hitting them all.
And I get the rest on YouTube.
Elliot cut right. There's comments.
Bro, Elliot's the king of comments.
I try to apply to everything on most platforms because like the only reason I post is to talk to people, really. I mean, it's Good point. That's what it started as, is like to share. So like that, sharing with other people is the best part. So
100%. I love the kayak rigging questions are probably my favorite questions. When someone's like, "Oh, how did you get that?
What do I do here?
That, or how did you get inside the hull of the U10, or who makes that bar? Like whatever. Like that has become probably my favorite part. The last couple of months, I'm like, dude, I'm digging it a lot, and we get a bunch of them. We get a lot, and I really enjoy those. Anybody that's DM'd me, I mean, I think I've answered every DM we've ever gotten. I think for the most part.
Send us like tag us in a video or something though, and then we could repost that.
God, I wish
if they would make a post, like a post video of like, hey, what's this, and then like we could make a post back.
I wish
everybody wins, guys.
That's the one thing that we don't get enough is like people tagging us in our stories and stuff. Like, dude, I wish more people would be like, I have this question. Aggressively average anglers, be Captain Planet, be my hero, take pollution down to 0. Let's get this fixed.
I mean, especially if they quote Captain Planet, like I'm on board. But you guys tag us, make videos and stuff. Tag us in your stories. We'll respond to it. I love that. That's like fun content for us to do too, because we get to cover the content for the day and we get to respond to you. Like I would love to do way more of those.
Patrick Marbury, the legend, with the Rebel logo in the house, wanted to know where'd you get the hat? How much is it? And is it still available? This is kayak or die. Jake has one.
I have one.
Where? I don't think it's up here. You got the orange one or the yellow one?
I do have the orange one.
What's it?
I wanted the yellow one. I think the yellow one's actually super tight, and I'm a little disappointed in myself that I didn't get it.
Okay, but where is it from though?
Kayak or die.
Can you say that again? Please?
How much?
Very nice.
Yeah, I'm proving to you that I can be nice. See, I did it, but also do get the hat because it's kind of sick. And then Samwise asked, do you guys just kayak fish? No, we do a lot of bank fishing. And actually, I've actually got quite a bit of testing to do on a lot of tackle. So one of those things, Jake, you'll like this one. This is Evolution. This is the new bag that they came out with, the river one. This thing is absolutely genius. They did a lot of genius stuff with this bag, including make the carry part, the bottom of it, so you can set it down flat with the waterproof bottom. I got a whole bunch of stuff to test, so we're going to be doing a lot of bank fishing this year. And I'm going to take it to my cabin. That's where I test all of the bank fishing bags because they get abuse, a lot of it, and I catch a whole bunch of smallmouth, and I actually use them a lot. So they're going to get a lot of hours this year.
Have you seen the new Yak Attack one?
Yes, I have, and it's coming.
Nice. I actually I took my wading bag when we went to that photo shoot this weekend, and I put it in the hole. But then when me and John Dalton switched kayaks, I was like, "Okay, John, you cannot flip." It's like no pressure, you cannot flip.
John was like
$5,000 worth of video equipment in the hole,
dude. He's got the sickest setup.
Yeah.
And then
did you take pictures?
We get like 2/3 of the way in of us switching, and he hits his log, and he's like, "Whoa!" And I'm like, "No."
I'm already in slow motion.
It's like, no, you're not.
You're gonna catch it. So not only does Jake have a really cool DJI setup that he should walk you through, but also John Dalton, you guys, that's Creek Fishing Adventures. The dude's like, is he 6'5"? Probably.
He's like 6'4".
He's a big guy. I stood next to him at a campfire for like 3 hours, and I just kept going like,
hey. It's so crappy. All of the people I know are like
so tall,
are super freaking tall, and have giant beards. And I'm always like, bro, like, why you guys gotta throw this all in my face?
Ethan,
you guys make me look so short. This is brutal. It's horrible. But yeah, John's
we gotta keep that short guy down, Jake.
That's and really, the kayak that we were in is not a super big guy kayak. It's really not. It is it's an average dude kayak. So I mean, you can be a big guy and be in it. It's possible, but I don't think it was really designed for that. And John was like making it happen, and he was in that river making it happen.
John's a good paddler, though.
He is a good paddler. Yes, he is. Actually, I think everybody held their own paddling. Actually, pretty well. Obviously, Drew's a good paddler, but Drew Gregory. But I mean, no one flipped, no one came close, and we were in some wind. And I mean, I'm doing like freaking 360s trying to get the right shot from the drone. So like,
you don't realize this, but I did fall out. I did fall.
You kept it under wraps?
Not on purpose.
No, I told people it was not on purpose. So what happened is John caught a bowfin, and we were taking pictures for his video. You'll see it. It'll be probably make the funnel cut. We're taking pictures of the video, and he goes in and he's like, take a really good photo. And I'm like, okay. And I'm taking this photo. And then he drops the bowfin because it thrashes. And I reached down and it's like in like maybe like 5-6 inches of water swimming towards me with its back out, and I grabbed it and I had it like this, but then it thrashed again and I lost my balance, and I think like I don't know, like 40% of my body fell into the water. And luckily it was shallow, but I still fell out of the kayak. So
that's probably the worst situation, is reaching over one of the gunnels.
Yeah. That's when it's easiest to tip. When you reach for a fish or like hung lure, rod, whatever. Yeah.
The kayak did get a little vertical. I mean, it was 100% my fault, but I was able to push it back down. Now,
so were you in the shoalie though? Were you in the shoalie?
No, I was in. That was when we were on.
You were in the other one,
and I had that stupid bow mount on, and I think it was just
that's not helpful.
Not designed for me to be doing that, and I had that power pole rocking around on the back. So
that's not fair.
Cards were stacked against me in that scenario.
My two scariest things: one, being sideways against the current. I'm always terrified. I'm never happy. If I'm sideways in the current, something's gone awry.
When you run into a log jam.
Yeah, because you hit a log and like you could be in almost any kayak and you have a really good shot of dipping out. Like that's probably, if I'm gonna fall in the river, that's probably how it's gonna happen. For some reason I get sideways and I don't recover fast enough, and then I hit something underneath. That's probably gonna be one. Number two is reaching over. When you're reaching over pretty far out, that's precarious in pretty much any kayak.
Yeah, easy to do. Oh man.
Oh,
what?
Why did I just got signed out of my own show notes. Can I sign back in, please? Thanks, everybody. What? Now I gotta verify myself. I was just here. What are we doing?
I'm like, Paul. So what's your next?
All right. Question? So we've got. I got a couple more for you. So we talked about this a little bit. So there's actually some people here in chat too, but there's a lot of people listening that obviously they're into fishing, and a lot of them are they are content creators. So you being on the private side, so kind of in the shadows of somebody else's account, managing it for them, like professionally on the professional side, but also doing it for yourself. You have a lot of experience. Whether they're new or not, or they're, somewhere on their journey, what would your biggest piece of advice be for somebody who's right now, doing Instagram, YouTube, that sort of thing?
That's a tough one. I mean, I think the number one thing is don't quit your job right away.
Yes, please.
Fair enough.
We still haven't.
I was, until like our company sold, like I was working. I mean, it's been less than like 8 months since that happened. And I was working, that whole time on top of the other stuff. But now, like, obviously I do other stuff on top of the content creation. But I think like if you can find a way to make it work, like, and we've talked about John quite a few times, but I think his story is kind of a good example. John worked that entire time until he felt like he could, take the plunge, I guess is the best way, and go full time into that sort of thing. And he was pretty big at that point. So it's like, it really makes you realize just like how hard it is to break in. And fishing is a really tough one to be in content creation. I would actually argue it's one of the toughest, and it's because there's not a lot of money in it. Because
the product isn't money heavy.
Right. It's because like, you could sell a lure, you could sell 50 lures, right?
You make tens of dollars.
What is that company making? 50 cents a lure. So 50,
you get 2 cents of that.
They pay you 10% of that, you're getting $25, something like that. And it's like, there's just not a lot of money in it. A lot of people aren't really I think like authenticity is an important aspect of content creation. And I see a lot of people struggle with that. Like, I have no problem posting a clip of me catching 15 white bass in a row and just letting it rip. Right. Like, that doesn't bother me. If it does well, it does well. But it did really well because like, I was just like, here's this clip, it's got like 400,000 views right now on Instagram. And it was completely left field of what I usually post, right? Because I'm not white bass fishing, but I was in that moment. And that's the sort of thing that I think I see less and less people doing. I see more and more people leaning towards memes. But like, if you're trying to build anything, leaning into memes is like career suicide, personally. And I've managed accounts that, had millions of followers. And I can promise you guys, if you lean heavily in the memes and then you post a video of you out fishing, cast the catch, guess what? That video is going to suck. It's not going to do well. And you're going to be like, oh, what's going on here? It's like, well, they're only following you for memes and stuff. Even when it's like part of your page, when you take that 180 where it's like you're posting memes and you're posting fishing, it's like really conflicting. So I think like you really just have to find your space. If memes are your thing, then you have to go all in on that. Like I think like Bait and Bougie Jose, he does a great job at that because he makes his own humor with him in it. You know, he does like skits and stuff like that. But like, you know, you see a lot of green screen stuff, and it's just, that's not the way to build your page. If you're really trying to do well and break into the space, you have to just make interesting, authentic stuff that people want to see. And you don't have to do anything crazy. Like people just, they're just like us. They just want to watch fish being caught. You know, they just want to see cool stuff. They want to see jet boats swamping you, lampreys.
They want to see you get wrecked, cut your foot open, then tell you you're up.
They want to, well, exactly that. They want to see the fishing moments, man, the life moments. That's what it's all about. I'd hard agree with that. Remember, Paul, we did when it was TikTok's fault. TikTok dropped. We started doing the meme thing with a lot of.
I think it was both though, because it was fun to do. I enjoyed doing it too. Yeah, like it wasn't forced. Like doing it was fun. And I did it on my personal page. I did it on mostly my personal page. We bailed on it because it was not fun anymore. I was like, yeah, this isn't fun. I'm not doing this anymore. And then
we're like, find a trend, do the trend. That was great. Moving on.
And I just did what I thought was funny. I still watch some of those videos every once in a while. They'll pop up on like a timeline, and I'm like, damn, that was funny. Like I still laugh at them. I'm like, dude,
nice joke,
like,
bro.
I just post stuff that I think is funny. Like I don't care if people like it or not.
I love fishing humor. Like there's a really smart way that you can go about doing it where you're not like completely all in. Like I'm not above posting something funny. I do it all the time. Like literally like probably like 3 posts ago. But it's like there's like a fine line that you have to walk where it's like, what are you really trying to do? You know, it's like, are you trying to build a brand? Or are you trying to just get a lot of followers? Because there's a lot of people that are growing like wildfire, right? But they don't really get good engagement. They don't have a lot of like.
That's the big thing.
They don't get a lot of views when they just post normal stuff, and it's just like you get pigeonholed in the same old thing. And honestly, that's a good way to get burned out too. Like I've realized lately, like I'll post. I like to post every day if I can, but if I can't, I can't. Especially when I'm on the road. I'm not going to get in a car wreck going down 64 to post an Instagram.
Got to get that post up.
Yeah, because I drive great blind.
Yeah.
Me too.
I do. I think you make a great point. And I do think that when you first start, you think you know what you want to do, and you're wrong.
Yeah.
Because you think it's going to be one thing, and it almost never is that thing. And it took us, you say, Jeff, like 4 years before we kind of hit our stride, and we're like,
no, like 5.5, 6.
Well, like this is actually
currently still don't know.
Lord. But I think we're pretty close. Like I think we've gotten to a point where we're like, I like fishing videos, I like fishing, but gear reviews is kind of a massive 60%, 70% of what we do, and I enjoy it. I like it a lot. It's something that's very sustainable because it's not hard to do. It's authentic, and I enjoy it. And then I love answering questions, and rigging kayaks has become a huge part of what we do. And I've really enjoyed that. Like Jeff and I really like doing it. Like that time is not time wasted. So, but it took a long time, a really long time for us to get there. And like Jeff said, we're not done. Like it'll keep changing, but that's, you know, this feels like a lot more solid and easy to be consistent, relatively easy to be consistent.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I like the lure stuff the best personally, where I'm like just fishing with a lure, talking about it. Like I've done that quite, zillions of times. Like
the old jerkbait. I watch every jerkbait video that you make, even if I don't care. I'm like, I'm watching it.
Well, that jerkbait video I posted a few days ago is RIP.
RIP.
That's the one that's the one that got stuck in a tree, and I was like, like, how do I get this? So I go over there and throw a log at it. And this is a slow floating.
It didn't work.
That's such a man thing to do too. It's just like, what do you do?
It knocked the lure out. It hit the water. I'm like, got it.
No way.
And it never came back up. And I'm like, how does that work?
You broke it.
How did throwing the log at it not work?
Yeah.
You're staring at the log. Wait, what? How? It was the perfect plan. It was. He did the math. Beautiful mind. Just.
What the? That's hilarious.
He did to it. To be fair, he got it out of the tree, man. How many times?
That's the video you need to make.
Somebody will go out there and find it. If you want the waypoints, I'll give them to you. Just DM me.
Get my goggles. Take my shoes off, and hopefully there's not a snapping turtle down there.
I did get offered. Speaking of those white bass, I got offered $100 for that waypoint.
This is what's that we were talking about this 2 shows ago, and it's fishtips.com has created this thing where people are paying for waypoints, and that drives me up a wall.
I would feel so bad selling that waypoint because nobody is getting to that spot. They do not realize how hard I work.
You have to get like a cage fight with 90 trees to get up to that.
You have to go through like 6 inches of water with your motor, and it's like it's muddy, and it's just you got to go under your trees and around a log jam, and it was a
treasure map.
There was no largemouth there though, so I mean I did catch one largemouth back in there, but it was just like white bass, and it was like big ones too, like 16-inch white bass. Like
they were running. That's so.
Well, they weren't going too much further. They were trapped.
I actually have a spot. I actually have a spot that every year in the spring, you can catch 10 to 15 every single cast wiper. Like it's nothing. And I mean,
how much for that waypoint?
Even if you had it, you couldn't fish it. And literally though, it is the greatest. I took Cooch out there because Cooch was having himself a tough day, and I was like, we're gonna get you. I took him to the corner. Dude, he was hucking just a little grub. It barely hit the water. Wiper.
Pow.
And which is like it's a fun fish to fight. It was on an ultralight, and he was just whacking them. And I just let him. I just sat back and cracked a couple on the shore and watched him stack them up for about 20 minutes. And he's like, I think I'm tapped out.
I feel good today. Thank you.
I think I got what I needed here.
I caught like 6 of them, and Drew's like, it's time to go. I'm like, one more. And you can see he leaves and he just leaves me in the dust. And I come back out of this creek, and I'm like, where is he?
What's the problem?
Miles away. 3 miles.
That's so awesome, man. I love it.
I think we start a new, instead of fish tips, we're going to combat that. We're going to be like fish treasure maps, and we're going to sell actual treasure maps. We'll send it to you. It'll come rolled up in a tube.
You know what? What's those geocaching?
It's
like geocaching. But
geocaching. We'll send you the map,
and you have to go on a specific day because like otherwise the time of year won't be right and it'll be empty. Like I have a spot. I know I could find a bowfin every single time that I went there. But only within like a 2-week window. You get a 2-week window, and after that, it's not guaranteed. The spawning, and it's so far up a river.
Yeah,
you wouldn't believe it. You truly, if I showed it to you and I said when they were there, you'd be like, you're lying. Shut up."
No, there's a couple spots.
That's the one that we caught that we were taking the pictures of was on a bed, or it was doing the thing because they don't really make beds. They
just chill. Yeah. They're terrifying.
It's kind of like carp, where carp are like, blah, 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 like getting up in the weed, losing their minds. That's what bowfin do.
Bowfin or not, dude? I've almost stepped on like 3 in creeks just walking a creek. They'll just be laying in 6 inches of water. You'll step on them, they'll snap at you. They
get giant up there too. Like my PB bowfin's like 9 pounds, and I caught it in Minnesota.
That's insane.
Dirty.
They'll fold hooks too. They'll fold.
I caught that on a wacky rig, by the way, with my spinning rod.
But that actually checks out. Checks out.
They eat them. That's like their number one bait.
I would say like Jeff and I have figured this out. I mean, I think I mentioned this to John a couple times for no reason. Like the easiest way to catch a bowfin that's in that spawning groove is to just put something that's like medium size and let it flutter.
That's what he did.
And like don't do anything. And just don't do anything, and they'll just come and sip it.
They snap.
I think he caught it on that bubblegum lemon swirl.
Yep.
His fave, the legend,
the old creamsicle. I think it is. It's the Yum Dinger, a 4-inch creamsicle.
We talked about this. We did talk about the what Helgramite is it? What's his face? Nico. Yeah, we talked about that because I was like, I don't remember how it came up, but he was like, yeah, it probably is the best Nico or the best Helgramite out there, but so freaking expensive. And it is. And it's for a lot of reasons that are both right and wrong. But
if you don't lose the jig, it'll last a zillion fish.
100%. Nice. If you don't break off, you're never
don't break off.
No, and it will keep its scent. It's crazy how long the scent lasts in those plastics. That's actually
pretty nice.
Freaking Chompers is the only thing I know that keeps bait like scent longer. The Chompers garlic, 600 years.
That's a Missouri special.
And on your hand for 600 years.
Oh, it's still on my fingers. I opened the bag.
I think they put Bang on there. You guys remember Bang?
No,
I think I've seen it. Like I don't remember. I don't use it, but it is pretty nuts. Like those bags are so juicy too. There's one JDM that we got, Paul, remember, from the hookup tackle over
Oh,
Christmas.
Jesus.
There's one that was just full of cherry syrup.
That was actually
dude,
so
some
gross.
of those JDM baits are crazy. Like I think G Crack smells like peanut butter, and then you've got like the OSP stuff, which smells like old dead shrimp.
I agree.
And I
it
left
is
those
dead
dice
animal.
in my car while I was at the Classic, and it was like I was on the water for 11 hours, and I come back to my car that's been sitting in the sun, and I'm like, what's going on here? It was like that like grumpy old man where you're like smelling it, and he had thrown
7
the
dead
fish in
fish.
his back seat. And like I'm like, what is that smell? Then I realized it's like, oh, it's all these dumb OSP dice. Like literally
plus $68 to make your car smell like a dead
the
zone.
world's best lure. What are you saying?
$100 worth of these lures just laying in your backseat, and there's like 10
and
of
smells so bad.
And there's 10. So the worst car smell that I've ever been in after a fishing trip is I got a buddy. No, well, your feet. After that, number 2, I got a buddy. Loves to dip, just is a dip machine. Probably the most addicted to spit person I've ever met in my life. Yes. He had like 4 spitters. He had them all like a quarter open. Full. He left 2 of them open. We were on the river for about 6 hours, 7 hours. We get out. Everyone's I was
midsummer.
Fine, it was fucking baking. He gets out. We get in his truck, and we got to go like 20 minutes back up to where we put in.
So bad.
To get the other truck. I was ill. I was like, dude, you got to roll the window down. I'm gonna throw up just from being in here. And I look at you just like everybody else. Like it's not an issue for me. This was horrific.
Disgusting.
Horrific. I've never smelled anything like that ever again.
Oh my gosh, that was a horror, and everybody was mad too. It was a bad river day. Everybody was so mad. This guy broke his paddle. And he had
I didn't even want to eat after that.
He had a paddle with a broken paddle for the whole trip. It broke at the beginning.
Well, his problem was he ran out of chew and beer. That was his
so
problem.
Grumpy. He was so grumpy.
That was his problem. All right, let's get into so last phase of the show. It's called Slow Rolling Thunder. A couple of fun questions, a couple of chill ones. Now, if you are a member, and if it was April 15th, this would be when we do our giveaways. So we do giveaways, but we do them on the members only. We want to preserve as much value as possible for our members. I'm actually going to print up and send one out for old, was it Peter? Peter getting the Schmidt from I got your address. So that's going out probably tomorrow, honestly. But yeah, so this is the time we would do that. But this one's just for fun. We're just going to have some funsies here. So this is for everybody. Favorite place to stop when you're on the road? Now, this could be a long stop, short stop, bathroom stop, for any reason whatsoever. But like when you're on the highway, backstop, you're on the road, whatever it is, what's your like when you see the sign of this place, you're like, thank God, we made it. We're gonna be fine.
Sanctuary.
Yeah.
What is it for you, Jake?
I don't know. That's a tough one.
It is,
especially because like all the. Like based on where you are, it changes, right? Because like if you're in Texas, you go to Buc-ee's.
No, but like what is it? It could be one very hyper specific if you want.
You know what my favorite one to go to is actually Sheets.
We've heard that. We've heard that.
I don't know what it is. I just think that they have a good balance of food and like obviously you get gas, but it's kind of like a little bit less insane than Buc-ee's too. Like
Buc-ee's is Disney-ish.
It's
just like and the stuff in there is kind of to quote like a Zoomer term, it's kind of mid, man. Like it's just,
I agree.
It's like
they got a great logo.
They got good food, but like the other stuff is all Buc-ee's brand, and like
people love Bass Pro. Bass Pro used to be the coolest, and now it's whatever's way below mid. It's the worst place in the world.
Yeah.
I actually was in. I needed something. I needed 2 things. 1, I really wanted to get a rain jacket, and 2, I really need another pair of like adventure pants. And I was like, I in my brain, I was like, oh man, if I find a place, I'm stopping. I drove right by a Bass Pro Shops. I saw it come 5 miles away. I was like, I don't need it that bad. I was like, it ain't worth it. I'm not going in there. I hate going in there. I can't stand it.
Oh man, what's yours, Paul?
It's really hard. I was actually thinking about it. I will tell you honestly.
Wawa's.
No, this is gonna sound bad, but like Starbucks. I'll tell you why.
Starbucks.
I know it's weird. But I know exactly what I'm gonna get when I go in.
Yeah.
I know it's gonna be good, and it's always gonna be good. It's never crappy, and the bathrooms are always clean.
Yeah.
And they're almost always. I don't think that it's so rare that you stop at a Starbucks and there's not a gas station nearby.
Yeah.
So like I can get like decent food that's not horrible, that is going to be hot. I can get a coffee, hot or cold, and it's going to be good. The water at Starbucks slaps. I don't care what you have to say. But
that's the hype man, sir. You watch your mouth.
Here's the thing, though. This is the kicker.
Yeah.
Where is there not a Starbucks?
Well, they're like
you'd
McDonald's,
be surprised. Right? I've done a lot of travel, and I can tell you, Starbucks are not as slam dunk as you think.
Really?
Yeah, especially like in the Northeast and like Pennsylvania.
Really?
I mean, they're there. I'm not saying they're not, but I mean, you're not going to find a lot of Starbucks down, you know, in Alabama when you're in Gunnersville. I mean, you'll find them up in the major cities. Like,
I'm thinking highway. Like when I'm on the highway.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't go Starbucks. Over Starbucks, I'd take Dunkin' Donuts at that point, or Timmy's. Wow. Yeah. Timmy's more up north, but
the food's not that good at Timmy's. I think the food's like very.
I'd literally at that point I will eat.
Don't care.
that's the idea, man.
Another good one though. Chipotle is actually hard to beat too.
Chipotle can be a lifesaver. It's like 3 meals in one, so you just put down a Chipotle bowl, like double.
But then you can grab one for the road for later. Yeah, that's the trick. You take a burrito with you, and they stay hot. Those are fire.
I do enjoy that,
dude. If I'm gonna stop for like fast food though, there's like a running joke with us on the KS stuff. It's always Culver's. Like I love Culver's.
Oh, the butter burger.
What do you get? Yeah, what do you get?
When we were in when we did the Wisconsin event, that's where the HQ is, right there in Sauk Prairie, right? Nice. So they have like the original Culver's at one of these places. So we went to one of the original Culver's, and I honestly, the best part is just the ice cream, the cheese curds. Like cheese curds. The main course is great, but
is the burger. But
it's like the other stuff is the perks. And I mean, like they don't have anymore, but they used to have fried walleye there, and now I think it's whitefish, which is kind of the same thing, I guess. But the walleye was awesome. I'm very sad that is gone.
That is sucky. I will say their fries, take them or leave them.
Yeah, if you get them hot, they're great, but once they get cold, it's like
it's over. Rallies, if I'm like going decadent, oh my god, Checkers, whatever, bro.
Dude, you know what always like just gets me? A&W. Like if there's an A&W, I'm like, we're about to get some good root beer, my dude.
It's niche AF.
If you want me to ruin Rallies for you forever, take a Rallies fry, eat it, and close your eyes and think about a Krispy Kreme donut. It'll ruin it. It tastes exactly the same when you close your eyes and think about a Krispy Kreme donut.
Seems like it would be a good thing.
I'm gonna do that, and I'm gonna film myself doing it and be like, wow. Now my second favorite food tastes like my first favorite food. Perfect.
Someone had me do that when I was in college, and I was like, wow, this is like eerily accurate. Because like if you close your eyes and think about a Krispy Kreme donut while you eat that, like
I'm gonna do it. I haven't had it in years. I'm gonna do it.
It's going down.
I'm sure it works for Checkers too. And
they're the same thing, right?
Yeah, they're the same thing.
They're the same thing.
It's like Hardee's and Carl's.
Hardee's, yeah, exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. All right. What do you think is for your social media? We'll call it a business. What do you think is the tool that you use the most, hardware or software, either way?
DaVinci Resolve. That's my editing program. DaVinci Resolve. It's like
DaVinci. I almost went that route.
You should have. You made a mistake. I actually switched. Like I've used all of them, and I like it the best because it's the most. It's great because I have a MacBook, and then this here is just a PC, like a PC setup, and it works on both. So that's the great thing about it.
Nice.
And it's not like Adobe. Adobe is the best. Don't get me wrong, but it's also the most expensive. Like it's.
Oh yeah.
They're paying monthly. It's
$20 for every
$50 a month or something. It's like,
it gets nuts.
And I've edited on everything. Like I've edited on Sony Vegas. I used that for a decade.
Whoa!
It doesn't actually even exist now. It's called Vegas Pro, whatever the number is now.
Yeah.
And that's honestly a really good one. Like if you want like a cheap one, I had kind of a falling out with them because their billing sucks because they are now owned by, I think it's Mavic or Magix or something, And so their billing is awful, and I got like triple charged and they wouldn't refund it. So I was like, you know what?
Dude.
I'm going to look for an alternative finally, because I had been toying around a little bit with the free DaVinci, and DaVinci's free if you want to give it a try.
I did.
I get nothing from this. I am not sponsored by them. It's just a really great program. So
nice. Did you ever use Final Cut? That was like
I
how
did,
I
and I don't like non-timeline editing. So
dude,
that
it's
didn't last long.
It's horrific.
Yeah. That was a tough one. I did a class in college, like a film school class, and we had to use Final Cut. Yeah. That's where I learned Final Cut.
It was probably good back then. Now it's
it was like 08, 09. Yeah.
The iMovie app is the most painful experience. I had to go back to it away from Lightroom. Is that what I use? Rush. I use Rush.
We use Rush.
I had to go away from Rush. I wanted to blow my brains out. It's horrible. I had to do it 2 times, and both times I've been like, how have they not changed this? This is the easiest 3 fixes, and never it's perfect. And they can't do it. I'm like, what the?
Yeah, it
horrible.
Sucks.
All right, last one. Probably the hardest one.
Ooh.
You get one brand for baits. Hard, soft, everything. You get one brand. What's it going to be?
Probably Megabass.
I knew it. I knew it. I knew it.
I mean,
that would be my bet.
They got it all, man.
I mean, to be honest, like I like all of them, so it is a really tough question.
Sure.
I think if we're gonna have to pick one, Megabass just does everything, so it's easy, like cover all. Yeah. But I mean, all companies make good stuff. Like you can catch fish with everything, you know.
Yeah.
It's like,
but everybody has their favorites, and it's interesting because I think I know what Jeff's answer is going to be, but I want to hear Jeff's.
You think you know my answer? Yeah. I mean, it's probably Z-Man.
I do it.
I mean, Z-Man would be my close second. Like
you lose a lot though.
Saying Z-Man, but they don't have any hard baits.
That's what you lose. You lose
eternity to using elastic.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, the crankbait bites on. It's like, all right, let me rig up this
chatterbait.
Diesel minnow.
Yeah, chatterbait.
I'll throw hula sticks and I'll just run it really fast.
Rougeru said mule fishing. Honestly, that one's pretty good. That's a pretty good answer because really you can go anywhere and catch a fish. It may not be a bass, but like you can go and have a good time. And honestly, year round, if you can drop shot and you can throw a jig, like, and you can throw a paddle tail, like you catch fish, like you're going to get them. You're going to get it done.
Now you can Texas rig the bluegrass.
Berkeley is unfortunately a decent answer. I think if you really were like, I need to be able to do everything, I think honestly, Strike King might be. Like
Strike King is probably one of the
honestly like Pradco has
Pradco, dude. If you make it,
if you could say it's Pradco versus the individual bait brands,
especially now that you could lump the Great Lakes finesse rods in there, because like
Jesus, yeah, it's unfair, completely unfair.
You got some of the best
Great Lakes finesse is like, you know, one of the most exciting bait companies right now.
Oh, dude,
it's not close.
They're awesome. Dan's been great.
Dan is really nice guy, and he was just on the show a couple weeks ago. He really. I'm going to say this. It's not a. I know we always come off as fanboys. I am. It's the thing I like about them. He's so protective to his core about the brand that he is. People talk about being uncompromising. I truly feel like he is probably one of the most uncompromising people out there. He has a very narrow scope, and he tests those baits truly religiously. It's insane. And I mean, he has a standard that until it's met, it's not getting through. And it's not in like a negative way where it hurts them. Like, and he puts out just the right amount, and they do not deviate. They're not making top water. They're not making big jigs. They're not. I mean, and they are narrow, and they are owning it. And like even the rods, they're so narrow. I can't recommend them to everyone, but even like I said in the video I posted like a week ago, I was like, if you finesse fish, especially in open water, you're not going to get a better rod for the dollar. Even at that price range, I don't think you're going to beat it. It's insane.
It's pretty nuts.
Yeah,
they're doing cool stuff.
Yeah, I'd be interested to try some. I have a lot of high end rods, and I'd be curious to see how they kind of compare, because they're like right up in there in the highest of the high end. So
they are absolutely no question.
The only downside for me is most of the models are very long. They're
there's a
clearly
reason for that.
designed for launching into clear water on boats.
Yep. That's right.
So
That's right. It's not for everyone. It just isn't. It's definitely not. But
sub
if it's
7-footer is not there.
But if you fish that way, it could not be more of a bullseye.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So,
anyways, that was the last one I had. That's all I got for you.
All right. Awesome. Well, Jake, man, it's been awesome. Thanks for hanging out with us. I know you're really tired from all the trip that you guys just did. So I know you got to catch some Z's, but real quick for all the folks in chat, especially anybody who's maybe not currently following you, where can they follow you, and what's some stuff that you're up to coming up?
Well, my username is, Illyakkin. It's kind of hard to point when you're doing the Illyakkin on all platforms. Super active on Instagram, obviously, and YouTube. I keep a lot of the vibe a little bit different on YouTube when I do the long form stuff. Like it's more of like day in the life of a trip. I've really leaned into that more lately, especially because I'm traveling so much. Just showing the whole process, because like I get a lot of questions and I was like, well, might as well start answering those questions in the form of video. It's like, this is how we do it. A lot of Airbnbs, a lot of gas tanks getting filled. So that's what I do over on YouTube.
Nice.
I do TikTok a little bit, but honestly, like I feel like TikTok is kind of a tough one lately, but
I deleted it.
It's there.
Yeah, we got it.
But yeah, Instagram. And as far as what I'm up to, well, my next thing is I'm going to Dale Hollow in 3 weeks for my first Bassmaster event of the year. Believe it or not, I haven't actually fished a Bassmaster trail event, because the only thing that they've had was Havasu in Arizona, which was 28 hours for me. And then they had the Kissimmee event, which was like 18 and a half hours for me. So
God.
Did not go to those two.
Shocker.
Yeah.
And then there's Champlain, which is actually the furthest. I think that one's like 20. I want to say it's 21 or something. So
yeah.
Frick, dude. I'd offer you a spot, but we're close. So, but we're pretty far east.
Yeah.
Or west. Sorry. We're pretty far west.
Yeah. And then, I think I'm going to fish, I'll be at all the KS events. So if you do any Kayak Adventure Series events, I'll be at those. Specifically, we have one coming up at the end of the month, the South Boston Bassathon in Virginia. And don't let that one fool you. There's going to be some giants caught. Trust me. There's some big smallmouth in that area.
It's
going to be interesting. And obviously, we're doing a lot up north this year with Kayak Adventure Series. We've got Ohio, which will be a good one too. Giant smallmouth there. Don't let Ohio fool you. I mean, if you need any case in point, look at all those Ohio boys like Ryan Dahl.
The averages in Ohio are insane. The average weights are.
Yeah, it makes the little Ozark ones. It makes me feel inferior, because catching a 20 in the Ozarks is like, all right, I'm done for the year. I'm out.
Yeah.
I mean, I caught 2 last year, and I felt like, wow, this was a great year.
Yeah.
But and then the Minnesota event up there at upper, the St. Cloud, the upper Mississippi, that is a can't miss event. If you're a smallmouth angler, I promise you will not regret going to that one. Like, even if you don't do well in the tournament, you will catch a big fish.
10 hours to St. Cloud.
Yeah, you will catch a big fish up there, guaranteed. John Dalton guarantee. That's what he always says to me when we're going.
John Dalton guarantee.
He's like, I guarantee you're gonna catch this.
Wow, he does say that a lot. He does.
Like, I guarantee.
He said like 5 times while eating a burrito.
Bro, mindset.
I was like, are we gonna wreck him on this creek tomorrow? And he was like,
guaranteed, buddy, guaranteed.
And then the day just kept going, and we still weren't fishing. And he's like, I don't know if they're gonna be biting. I'm like,
he lost the confidence.
Well, that's a little different.
Guaranteed. Well, maybe not.
But we wrecked him, so it worked out. Like, John caught some awesome fish. So
nice. That's awesome. Well, hey, man, thanks for hanging out with us tonight. It's been a blast. Chat, you guys have been fantastic. Thanks for hanging out with us as well. We'll be back next week on Wednesday. I think we have another guest. Paul, you want to tell them the guest for next week?
Do we have a guest for next week?
Is it 2 weeks out?
Yeah, I think it's 2 or
3. All right, we don't have a guest next week, but we have a guest eventually, and they're going to be really cool. We got
It's
Ryan
Old
Lilly
Town.
From Old Town. We're gonna have Ryan on to talk about the 120 Pro, the new PDL or EPDL option,
which we will have seen, because we're gonna see it this weekend.
I saw it at the Classic. It was cool.
It looks neat. I'm excited to get hands on. Yeah, I mean, that's what I like. I want that. All right. Well, we'll be back next week. We're going to get Jake out of here. Thank you so much, you guys, for hanging out tonight, and we will catch you then. Members, we'll see you April 15th. Chaz, take us out.